Ciao ragazzi, bentornati sul canale. Quest'oggi continuiamo la nostra serie di interviste per la Road to Clash e oggi vedete bene che non abbiamo non un ospite ma due ospiti, ma proprio di un livello di quelli stratosferici, per cui abbiamo con noi Tom e Darren dal team inglese, con cui parleremo un po' appunto, della loro squadra, del loro paese, e che non sono la patria di Age of Sigmar, tra l'altro. Quindi diamoci sotto. Ladies and gentlemen, we have not one but two incredible guests with us tonight. Tom and Darren from Team England. Welcome, guys. Thank you for being here.
Hello.
Our pleasure.
Absolutely.
These two guys you probably know, but they are from the actual original country of Age of Sigmar, so the home country of Warhammer. So kind of a big deal, probably.
Privileged.
Well, you guys can go up to Nottingham and play in Warhammer World, like.
Very grateful.
Extremely privileged in that regard.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So we are doing this series of interviews to get to know the teams, the countries, and all the participants of this cool first event from Elf Worlds. And Darren has been here before, so he's coming back to the channel. We talked about this before with him. So we learned how he started playing, how he was like a competitive mind of. Really into competitive gaming from the start, and I wanted to take this chance and to get to know how was it for you, Tom. So what was the start of the game for you? How did you get to play?
Oh, so probably about 20 years ago now was the.
That hurt, didn't it?
I know. I'm just thinking it might be 19, but well, round up at this point. Walked past the first Games Workshop store, childish intrigue, understanding what things were. It was a while then, sort of picked up a few little sets and paints and things like that before you sort of get introduced to the game. And as soon as you start playing the game, you realise, probably the same as Darren, like how competitive we are. And
how much we hate losing.
Yeah, absolutely. So started playing in the local Games Workshop, and at that point Games Workshop were running events called Conflict, which were regional tournaments. So there was one in the Midlands, one in Scotland, and they were really and truly designed for the stores within that region of the UK. But me and a few friends travelled to every single one of them. We travelled to Scotland. I think there was one weekend that we were in Edinburgh one day and Bristol the day after. So that's sort of brilliant. All the way up and all the way back down. Nice. That was as the Marauders Club. I
brought my little Marauder with me. Hang on, here you go.
The Marauder Johan. There he is. Nice.
I don't have that shirt as well. I get a half and half. So yeah, that was introduction to competitive gaming. Obviously, so when you start playing in a Games Workshop, then you're quite closed to the independent scene in a way. More so then than now, should I say? Mm-hmm. So you start doing the conflict events, the grand tournaments and things like that at Warhammer World, and you start talking to people, and you realise that there's actually tons more events that go on that aren't advertised in a Games Workshop because they're run independently in sports halls or concert halls and things like that, and that just kind of exploded.
People are much better, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're very in a local shop. You're very much a big fish in a small pond.
That's true. That's true.
And yeah, it's so as a club we had some success in conflict events. I even won a best painted at one of them. Now that's
You're not bad at painting. You're just lazy now. You just get it done as quickly as possible.
That's my painting is the speed side of things now. Yeah. So yeah, that kind of opened up the independent scene, and then you start to talk to the names, as it were, at the time, and sort of climb the ranks as such through the tournament scene, and to sort of where we are today.
Nice. Darren, did you attend these events that Tom was talking about as well?
No, I came into the ultra competitive scene very sort of late on. I don't know why. I didn't really go outside of Portsmouth. I used to attend the South Coast GT, which is a famous, like a big, one of the big tournaments, and that's because it was local. That was down the road. It was only really Age of Sigmar that I think because I was a bit older and had a bit more money and I were into it. I've been pretty poor all my life. I've never had any urge to acquire any money. It all gets spent on going out dancing. I never really had any disposable cash to think of. I only really go to local events. It's only as I got older and matured a little bit that I was able to sort of go outside the book. But yeah, with a little bit more money, I was able to, I think if you're being competitive as well, you've got to spend a little bit more than the average gamer, right?
Yeah.
Because it moves so quickly, and I really was not able to do that before.
Yeah,
so now I can, for better or worse.
Yeah, I was thinking about the fact that usually in stores people are there's lots of people that are probably beginners that stick to stores and then don't just go to the next level of like finding like a gaming club or something else. And it's the same here, because I was thinking about our local GW stores, and there's lots of like young kids learning to play online and everything else. And it's kind of the starting point for most people. But still at the same time, there's people that just want to stay at that level and then are not really interested in competing.
I've kind of experienced it with my son. So he's 14, and I started taking him to Games Workshop when he was about 11. And when he started learning the game after painting, it was like a year. It was just before COVID sort of kicked off. And it was great taking him down there every Sunday. And then I remember one time I was sitting back having a paint, and his little mate got out his army, and the tailor got out his army, and then they were reminiscing about how they defeated their foes the week before. And it was just the most beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And that's the very start of that love.
Did one of them ask the other one how the game went, but really only just wanted to mention how his game went?
Well, they were actually on the same team, so they were like, "Do you remember when I commanded you to take the left flank?" "I know, and I did it so well, didn't I?" It was just brilliant. It was probably one of the happiest moments Games Workshop experience was seeing my son sort of start to develop that.
Yeah, I think it's often quite hard to realize how niche we are as competitive gamers when you see like the rankings in the UK, for example. I don't know how many people are on there now, but there probably isn't that much over 1,000. And it's quite clear that Games Workshop wouldn't produce a system that only 1,000 people buy.
No.
There's obviously so many more people that are buying the books, the models, and things like that.
We whinge the most, though, don't we?
We're very much the loud voice.
We're the loudest, for sure.
It's it's funny. I bought the big Forge World Corn Dragon when I first started my business. When I did my first sale, that was my present. I never used it, never built it, and sold it on Facebook. And a guy came around, tried to sell it to the competitive side on Twitter. No one's having it. This guy came round and bought it, and his game was he played in his basement with his son, and that was the last monster he needed for the collection. All they do is just fight monsters every day. And it's like, it's just to be that, not in a bad way, but that naive. That innocence is like, that must be really nice.
You've defeated every monster, and then you've got to defeat that big corn monster. That is cracking.
Yeah.
I'd love to be that naive.
Yeah, but I understand what you mean. It's like,
once you've seen how the sausage is made, I suppose a little bit, it's quite hard to go back to that.
It's hard to go back to that. Yeah, it's just.
I know I can't.
Yeah, having fun. It's hard. It's hard for me to play narrative games. Just what I think you are saying. It's
even the word makes me like shudder a little bit.
I've spent lockdown trying to write my own battle tome, so I've become very much a narrative. It's going to swear.
It took me a while to decide whether or not you're still on the team.
He's on the other side now. He's probably better off without you.
Yeah, you're not using them. I'll tell you that right now.
No, good grief, no. The thing is, so throughout lockdown, normally my brain would have an event right? So it's constantly thinking about, studying the meta. What armies do I think I'm going to take? How am I going to treat this situation, that situation? It keeps me up at night. And I didn't have any of that. And I think this a battle tome is my brain needs to do something. Because as
It's
soon
your
as I
outlet.
had this project, and I felt much more relaxed in lockdown. I actually really enjoyed it. But before I had that, I was actually getting a bit tetchy. So my brain needs this hobby to
Yeah,
to
I work exactly the same as you, because in those, I think probably the last 6 months I've painted just a couple of models, one of them being Glutos from Slanesh, so it's like, it counts as like 20 models probably. but now we have a tournament coming in July in Milan, and this just clicked for me, and then I, like, in 2 or 3 days I painted like 40 Nighthound. Just I don't know, that's the project focus I need for my mind.
Sorry.
nothing like a tournament to motivate you, right?
No, this is it. I will only paint 4 tournaments, and so sort of early last year, like South Coast was the I painted like 300 models for South Coast. That event didn't happen. Like, okay, they
sorry for you, because I know how horrible that was.
they get put on the shelf. Okay, so I just painted the Pistolier army I took to Belgium, so that was 70 models. Took to Belgium, on the shelf. Right, South Coast, 300 models, on the shelf. Then something else was coming along, like, oh, maybe COVID's over, maybe, so we'll paint that army. Nope, that event's cancelled, that goes on the shelf.
Yeah.
And I think I must have painted 500 models in the first 6 months of last year. And after that, I just kind of like, nope, I'm gonna take a break. So my mental energy went on World of Warcraft instead for a while.
And it goes somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's a trap.
Yeah.
That's a trap.
Oh, it's a trap I've been
only
in for the
paint
last
Johans.
15 years.
Oh yeah.
That's what I've resolved to do. I only paint Johans now. That's I don't want to paint any more models other than those.
Yeah, I've got a half-built
They are the
Bellacore, and that's
people.
the only hobby I've done this year so far.
Oh, crikey. Right.
Yeah.
So, but I'm all in now, ready to go.
Cool.
Yeah, we're
So-
gearing up, aren't we?
Yeah, so I wanted to be able to give people who don't know much about England from an Age of Sigmar point of view. I was interested to have a take from you guys to try and explain to maybe somebody that doesn't know a lot about it. How is the competitive world in England? Like, how would you describe it? How is it organized? How would it work from somebody that looks at it from an outside point?
That's probably a better question for Tom. He's a bit more in the organisation things. I just
So-
like,
Well, you can give us the player take, and Tom can give us the organization take.
from a player take, it's just the best way to have fun and see all your wonderful friends and play a game that you love. And there's so much choice now. There's it's too much choice. So you've got to limit. You've got to really. Events are really starting to have to compete for people's attention because there's so many great places to go, and they're getting better and better organised. I went to Bobo, and it felt like a festival. We walked in and there was a band playing, and I looked around this room and there was 100 and 150. I don't know how many people. It was like over 100, maybe 150 people. All my best friends. It's great. So there's some real in England. There's some real quality, some really great events.
Yeah, we're super spoiled with things like this.
Yeah,
And,
super spoiled.
it's I don't know this for a fact, but I would hazard a guess that per square mile there's more events in England than anywhere else. We're a small island country, and there is, pre-COVID, obviously, you could probably go to an event every weekend if you were willing to travel.
Yeah.
And that could be a 1-day thing one weekend and a 2-day thing another. But it's quite interesting that having so many events has caused almost local metas to emerge in some cases. So, the guys up in Scotland, for example, they have their own events, and I don't think that many people from below the Midlands travel to Scotland anymore for events because they don't have to. They've got plenty on the doorstep. So actually, you've got this almost north-south divide in a way, where sometimes there will be slightly different metas, almost like the accents. It can develop locally, and then that's really interesting when you get one of the big events like a Blood and Glory or a South Coast
Fascinates me.
or something like that, and you've got different people from different areas coming together to play games. And obviously there's always that one person who's just played at their club that rocks up with something that does well at their club that nobody expects and does well at a big event because people don't know about it.
That's true.
So it's you know, in terms of how is it, it's amazing. You know, we are really spoiled. I don't think we quite get how lucky we are in some cases.
And there's lots of different types of event as well now, isn't there? It's not just singles. Me and Tom were just at Rob's Be Honest Wargamers Super Series.
Yeah, that's a cool thing.
I was part of that. The Bruce's in the first round. I got to commentate it last week, and for me, it's a really super exciting format. I don't know if you've caught any of it, but
yeah,
and that was thrilling, absolutely thrilling. One of the best days. So like, there's a social aspect of it. There's the fact that you feel like it's evolving and you're part of it. It's developing and you're watching it develop. It's just great.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a long tradition of Warhammer in general, and of probably wargaming. So I think it's tied to this tradition of lots of events, and I mean it makes sense since it's the birthplace of Warhammer. It's probably makes sense that you guys have lots of players, lots of events, and an evolution of the game that is different in respect of other countries like us. Like, for example, we were talking to the guys, among the guys who organize tournaments here, and just to give you a taste of how it feels here, we were just talking that we should have probably 5 or 6 tournaments, 2-day tournaments a year. And that's probably like what happens in 2 months for you guys. So
could well be, yeah.
But it's cool because
the rest of the world's catching up, though, aren't they?
Yeah,
I mean, it feels like that. The rest of the world's catching up.
Yeah, this event we have in Milan in July. It's the first 2-day event since lockdown probably, and it's sold out in 3 days, and we have 64 players.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Boom, that's great.
Yeah,
that is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think I'm booked on this around the world's weekend. I think I'm probably at 5 events in a row.
Wow.
Which I'm not sure my wife knows yet.
We're probably at enough not telling her.
I'm lowering the volume a little bit just in case.
Not sure my ex-wife knows.
It's that's going to be an interesting one, and that, you know, it's. Obviously, we know wargaming is the mental energy exhausted after one weekend is sometimes will take you a week to get back into normality.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really interesting, like
Definitely.
endurance.
Yeah. You love it though, don't you?
Oh yeah.
It's
5 different armies though as well. That's the problem, probably.
Oh wow, that's like 5 times the mental energy that takes from one army probably.
I'm too much of a butterfly when it comes to armies. They get used to one event and then that's it for the most part.
Oh yeah,
they're done
very rarely. That's used. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to figure out what I've done.
Yeah.
You know.
That's it.
Keep a step ahead. That's the.
Yeah. Don't be a one-trick pony. Change your army all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's try to don't go homeless because it's gonna be probably pricey.
When you can probably make out about 5 different armies just from the cabinet behind me.
But yeah, that's the same experience I had with my friends, because when we started attending two-day tournaments, we were like, when we were playing the last day, we were like, oh my god, we are so tired. I just want to sleep. I don't want to play anymore. It's so tiring. I don't want to see all these models for a while.
After the Saturday night, that.
Yeah, and then after the 5th game, coming back on the drive, we talked like 2 hours non-stop listing and all the things.
Oh, that's the best bit.
Yeah,
that is the best bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So most events these days are 5 games, aren't they? Everyone wants to get away on the Sunday, but there's a few in the UK that are still 6-game events, and that 6th game is really where some things start to separate.
I love 6 games.
Yeah, me too.
That's nuts.
I think I'm still on my game at round 6. I'm probably not as much on round 5, to be honest, but round 6 is I think I've won every game 6 I've played, just because the other person's often really
so knackered. I'm
That's
normally
some
hungover as well.
there.
Oh, you're just coming around by that point, aren't you?
That just goes to show how much enthusiasm I've got, right? If I've had 2 hours sleep, then I'm loving game 6.
That's when you wake up, though. Game 4 and 5, you're still half asleep.
Get your 3rd wind.
Yeah. Well, so the next big topic I wanted to talk with you guys was seeing these amazing shirts you guys have was like, how is the team coming together? How is it organized? Like, can you tell us a little bit about how you guys come together, how the selection works and all this stuff?
So we, as of, I keep wanting to say last year, but it wasn't last year now.
No.
It was 2019. That's
Yeah.
that's scary.
Yeah.
I can look at the numbers are there. So, so that year was obviously first year of England attending the ETC. I was actually there the first year that AOS was there, but I was helping with the England T9A guys a little bit. So we sort of just decided to take a team at that point. You know, if we didn't do it, nobody would. You know, I took the captain role because I'd been involved with ETC before. I wasn't taking one of the player spots, so I didn't feel like it was a huge issue for me just to say, okay, so I'll put the team together. I'll take them out. I'm not going to play because am I one of the best 6? Maybe not. But also, I think a team wants a non-playing person in there, and I think I'm one of the better ones at that side of things.
You did a phenomenal job.
So
I can tell you have recommendation from international guests, because my new friend Guillaume from Team France recommended me to talk to you because, in his opinion, you are the best AOS coach probably in the world at this moment. That's some.
I'll take
nice
that.
words.
That's high praise from Guillaume. It's high praise. Not just that one.
And it's coming from French guys, which are probably your longtime rivals from probably history.
Me and Graham have had some great games as well, actually. Some really good games. So yeah, at that point, we opened it up to applications, and we took the best 6 players that we could out of those. And one of the key things that we needed to make sure of is that we didn't take the 6 best singles event players, because that's not always how the best teams formed. So, you know, I looked at, we had a selection committee, so there was me and 4 others who weren't involved in the system from various corners of the UK as well. We picked 1 per region. And we took the applications in, we voted on them, and we came up with a team where you've got some really solid, versatile players, some players who, given a specific army and a specific job, were probably one of the best in the world at doing that side of things, and some great list writers as well. So together in that, I think we had the best. We definitely didn't have the best 6 players, but we did have the best team. And I think that's quite a big distinction that
Yes.
sometimes is missing with things like this. So, you know, we took a little bit of flack the first year, because it felt a little bit like a closed shop. The people that were picked, some of them were of a certain friend group and things like that. And I really wanted to try and dispel that for this last year, but now this year.
Yeah.
So I wrote a selection charter, very similar to how the original 6th, 7th, 8th edition England team was selected, which sort of outlined a route into playing for England for the ETC. And one of those things was having a run at the Six Nations event first, so that a team has the Six Nations event, 8 players instead of 6. There's a chance for, you know, a minimum of 4 new players every year to join that team, to test it out, see whether they enjoy it, and then gives them an opportunity to apply for the ETC team the following year. So we've got an ever-expanding pool of players in that, and I think, you know, we haven't had a chance to go out and test it yet, but I think the system's working really well. The Six Nations team, I think, has at least 5 new players this year.
Solid players as well. They're not.
Yeah, they're not no slouches anywhere.
No,
So that side of things, you know, we've tried to keep it as open as possible. So captains are voted in each year. I applied after 2019, was voted back in. Plan to apply again 2022. But who knows? You know, I've sort of set the system up as a bit of succession planning in a way. I will captain as long as the team wants me to captain. I think at this point, I did say the first year I'd do the 1 and that was it. But then once you've done it, it's hard to step away. So as long as I'm wanted and needed, I'll stick around and help captain or even coach. There's no sort of, I don't need to be the captain or anything like that. Yeah, that's...
You want to try and play, don't you? At one event, at one of them, right?
I think I've done all right without the pressure.
Oh, fair
I think as a player, you've got a little bit more pressure, haven't you? No, I will. If I'm not on the leadership side, I'll apply as a player. Absolutely. I want to be there every year, and I think even if I wasn't selected, I would be.
You'd still go anyway for the jolly, right? And
Yeah,
it
so
is a jolly. It is a jolly. It's so good.
Yeah. So we've set the team up in such a way that we've got 3 new players this year. For ET, or 4 new players this year that didn't play in 2019. And our aim is always to go out there as the home of Warhammer. As such, we want to be massive ambassadors for the hobby. You can see if you're somebody looking into the hobby through the window of Twitter, for example, you can perhaps get a bit of a sour view of the English scene sometimes, but actually we're more than just what you see on social media. We're hopefully a bunch of 8 lovely guys that will come out and hopefully win the sports trophy again.
I am a shining light on social media. What are you talking about?
You are.
Well, I can see you guys as a
sickeningly
growing,
so.
as a growing player. When I started playing and I started getting interested into the competitive side of Age of Sigmar, I immediately started looking up to the UK as an inspiration, as a really like a huge information thing, because we guys had lots of tournaments, lots of lists coming out,
a lot of data.
Yeah, content producers and all those things, and it was really inspiring for me, and that's a big part of for me, in just getting to what I'm doing today. And I think you guys are really showing what you were saying, Tom.
Well, no, it's so we wanted to go out there and win 2019 in the right way, and I'd like to think that we did that with coming away with the sports trophy as well. I was happier with the sports trophy than the win, personally.
We all looked at each other like mouths hit the floor, and like 8-9 men embraced.
Yeah, it was. You can see. I think you can see the photos of the stage. There's one with us with the sports trophy and one with us our actual trophies, and we definitely looked happier with the sports trophy.
Yeah,
because it's such a huge surprise. You never expect to win an event and get the best sports. That's just doesn't happen generally. But I think
not in the first time you've been to that kind of event as well.
No, I mean, we went out there with that mindset. We were just as nice as we can be.
Yeah, because I mean, the winning the competition is like a reward for you as a player, but winning the sports award is like a reward for you as a person, which is the most important.
And as a team as well,
as a team, yeah, sure.
There's definitely not everybody was perfect at the table every single time, but we rallied around people and G'd them up as a team, and that's, I think, what showed through.
Yeah, we know Darren gets heated up when he roasts lots of ones, so. I'm looking forward to see it live, and it's gonna be a show.
Darren will put on a show, won't you?
I had my top off most of it, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I should do it this time. I've got a couple more mood downs after lockdown, so it's probably not.
It was 35 degrees though, so we'll let you off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, Tom organised it for someone that was applying. I think I wrote an essay for my application. And I think I'm not lying in saying this, I was the first one, but as soon as they said, right, it's open, I was like, right,
boom.
An essay, and it worked, right?
There's always, it's hard to not have people in mind when you put a team thing out there to say, do you want to play on my team? You've always got some people in mind that you absolutely want there, and Darren's one of the people.
I'll take that. There you go. There's my little.
From a positive mindset, your list design, enthusiasm. That's what you want.
Keep going, Tom. Keep going.
That's it now. You've had 3. That's that's
the nicest you've ever been to me.
You tell the bite marks in my lips.
I've got it on
Nice.
video now, mate.
Yeah, we have the proof.
Yeah.
It happened.
So I'll just claim it's dubbed. Don't worry.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah, that's really good thing to probably. I mean, it's legit to have people already in mind when you do this kind of selection, because I mean, people stand out for themselves with the results they have at the tables and then events. So it's normal for. I mean, it's normal for a sports coach to think about the top players all around the world when they select their national team. So it makes sense to me.
That's it. We've always we're doing our best to not make this a closed shop going forward as well. The who knows what it'll look like next year if I'm not captain. There could be a huge U-turn in how things are done. I'd like to keep it roughly the same as I have done, but
I'll only ever apply if I think I deserve to be there. I don't want to be. I want to be there on my merit. Always my merit. So if my results slip, if my enthusiasm slips, if I feel there's someone else that's better, then I will stand aside. I've already had my time in the sun, and I'm getting older. I'm 40 this year. I know you can't believe it. I'm 40 this year.
I'm not giving you that one. You've had enough compliments from me. You definitely look 40.
But I do wash with Dove. But
Nice.
yeah, I only ever want to be there if I deserve it, right?
Yeah, it makes
And
sense to me.
with the way that the selection's done as well, the aim is to only have people there that deserve it.
Yeah, Oh yeah, 100%.
So yeah, the team will change year by year always. So we've put in writing that we want X number of new players per year to be in the Six Nations, which inevitably then will grow the pool of people that are eligible to play for us for ETC.
Yeah.
People who've done a few years will step back, new people will come in. The aim, I suppose, would try to have a 50-50 in terms of a follow-on from the previous year and some new blood. And that will just keep evolving over time.
And it encourages competition, doesn't it? It encourages people to keep at the pinnacle, right? And which will, that hopefully will keep up, because we're going to need it. The rest of the nations are starting to get better and better and better, putting more and more more effort into it. Look at Poland, look at Russia, look at America. Those guys are doing wrecks. They're coming for us, right? And if we don't keep up,
well, we've got the target on our backs this year. Absolutely.
Yeah, and rightly
we'll see
so.
how it goes.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to break this. The Zoom threatening me to close the call because I don't have a pro account.
I do, Francesco. Do you want me to open a new? Oh, I can't record it then, can I?
Nah, don't worry. I mean, I think we had a good talk about lots of stuff. Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything else? Any shout outs or?
Shout out to everyone that's coming to Milan. I can't wait to meet you all. It's you're gonna have the best time. and yourself. I can't wait. We're gonna see each other.
I can't wait to get a beer with you guys. That would be
absolutely. Yeah,
lots of Italian beer.
It's gonna be amazing. Love it. Can't wait.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for all these cool things we talked about, and I wish you all the best for these final months. Prepare, get ready. I know you guys are. And we should have lots of fun.
Yeah, we're going to bring our A game. Don't worry about
Absolutely.
That. Right on. Okay, guys. And thank you so much for being here again. And have a good night, and we'll keep in touch for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks, Francesco. Thank you.
Bye-bye.